Welcome friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. In the previous video session, we are discussing about the fundamental of remote sensing, in which we are discussing about the various types of remote sensing, processes involved in remote sensing, their history and their tactics used during the remote sensing process. Now, in this chapter, we are studying about the different types of remote sensing, how much we can categorize the different types of wavelength and their bandwidths, and how can we interpret the remote sensing images. Today, we are discussing about the electromagnetic spectrum remote sensing. Based on the range of electromagnetic spectrum, we are differently categorized these types of remote sensing based on electromagnetic spectrum, like optical remote sensing, thermal remote sensing, and microwave remote sensing. In the optical remote sensing, we are using the wavelength range between the 300 nanometer to 3000 nanometer. That is the different types of wavelength that we can use in the optical remote sensing. It is the optical remote sensing device is operated in a visible near infrared or middle infrared in the short wave infrared portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. That wavelength is also can be visible by our eyes. So that remote type of remote sensing is called as optical remote sensing. The photography by our cameras is a optical remote sensing type. Generally, most of the remote sensor record this range type, of the electromagnetic wavelength. So, the most of the cameras now in presently available in market are using this type of remote sensing techniques. In our mobile phone, we are also using these types of remote sensing. Next is the thermal remote sensing. This wavelength cannot see by our open eyes or human eyes. It can be seen by the specialized sensors, and it should be noted by the different algorithms. Generally, in the thermal remote sensing, 3000 nanometer to 5000 nanometer and 8000 nanometer to 14,000 nanometer wavelength range has been used for this type of remote sensing. We have to record the energy emitted from the earth. We are using the thermal remote sensing. If you want to find out the changes in the temperature in the atmospheric condition of the whole spherical globe, and if you want to find out the our human movement or the animal movement on the forestry or the building or the any other tactical purposes, so we are using the thermal remote sensing. In the previous range is related to high temperature phenomena like a forest fire, and later with the general earth picture having a lower temperature. So we can separate from our remote sensing image what are the uh, alive image or what are the dead image, right? So that type of differentiation we can see in the rough idea about the temperature changes and the human body temperature movement under the building or behind the any other obstruction that cannot be seen by the human eyes. So we are also seeing the thermal imaging cameras and their images. Now next is the microwave remote sensing. Generally its wavelength is 1 mm to 1 meter. And most of the microwave sensors are the active sensors. And it should have their own source of energy because the natural source of energy is not present in the microwave remote sensing. Generally, the longer wavelength microwave radiation can penetrate through the cloud cover, haze and dust. So if you want to find out the any other celestial body characteristic, we are using the microwave remote sensing. As the longer wavelengths are not susceptible to atmosphere scattering, which affect the shorter optical wavelengths. So we are using the longer wavelength like microwave wavelength 1 mm to 1 meter. If you want to find out the characteristic of that larger distance bodies, the property allows the detection of microwave energy under the almost all the weathers and environment condition, so that the data can be collected at any time. If you want to know about the earth surface during the rainy season, we have to use the microwave remote sensing. Now we are moving to electromagnetic energy. We are previously discussed that remote sensing is based on the EM radiation, electromagnetic radiation. But if we want to know about how electromagnetic energy are correlate with the different characteristic of the object, so the combination of electric and magnetic field both are mutually perpendicular to each other and passes perpendicular to the light. So its travel speed is of light is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. That phenomena is we have studied during our science topics in the physics. That is the one type of our learning process about the physics. So the magnetic field and electronic field are both perpendicular and their wavelength may be different or same. Now next we are moving to the EMR. Generally, EMR is originated from the billions of vibration of electrons and atoms and molecules, which emits the EMR in unique combination of wavelength. If the temperature below the 0 degree Kelvin or the minus 273 degree centigrade, it absorbs the all EMR. That cannot reflect the any type of electromagnetic radiation from that, because there have been such a position is that there have been no electronic atoms vibration in that particular object. So the electromagnetic radiation is zero for in case of 273 degree or 0 Kelvin. Amount of EMR radiation depend upon the temperature of object. If the temperature of object is higher, then their radiation is higher and we can easily separate that object from the one another. Now another technique is data acquisition. For the data acquisition, we have to know the source of electromagnetic energy, how the electromagnetic energy are passes through the different types of atmosphere. So we have to also calculate their effect on the electromagnetic spectrum. Next is the interaction of electromagnetic energy with the earth surface and its features or the our targeted object. We have to also the retransmission of electromagnetic through the atmosphere, so that can be reflected and regained by our sensor. Recording of the electrical electromagnetic energy by the sensing system. Generation of sensor data in the pictorial or the digital form. That are the last phase of data acquisition. So we can understand the data easily. Now the picture shows that some of the incoming electromagnetic radiation that comes from the sun, and they are interact with the our earth surface matter and emitted EMR are seen from their different matters, and their reflected and emitted EMR both are the different matters. That is the reflected EMR, that is the and emitted EMR is its own reflection or the uh, own energy source, which can be gained by the our sensors. Now the general process of remote sensing. In the first process is that data analysis. So interpretation and analysis of the generation data. After that we have to generate the information products, and the last the final product is shared with the user. So first we have to understand about the basic wave theory. Electromagnetic energy travels in the harmonic sinusoidal fashion. So there have been two fluctuating fields which shows in a figure. One vector shows the distance, another is electric field and another is magnetic field. Red line shows the magnetic field and blue line shows the electric field. That should be perpendicular to each other, and their wavelength also may become a different. Now what is the wavelength? Wavelength generally is defined as a distance between the two successive wave peaks, and it usually expressed in micrometer or nanometers, nm. Frequency is defined as the number of cycles passing a fixed point in a space is called as frequency. So wave equation is that C is equal to V into lambda. So C is also called as a Planck coefficient in the term of physics. That should be Planck coefficient. V is equal to frequency and lambda is equal to wavelength. Now, as per the practical theory, the electromagnetic energy interacts with the matter. The smallest possible unit is photon. Each process a certain quantity of energy. The energy of quanta per photon is given as under Q is equal to H into F. Q is equal to energy of quanta, or it is denoted as a joule. H is a Planck's constant and F is the frequency. From the equation number 1.1 and 1.0, we are putting that data into the previous equation. C is equal to V into lambda. We can get Q is equal to Hc upon lambda. Now H is equal to Planck's constant, velocity of wave, and the lambda is equal to wavelength. Now the electromagnetic spectrum distribution. We are understanding how to electromagnetic energy are distributed between the different electromagnetic spectrum. Distribution of continuum of radiation energy can be plotted as a function of wavelength, and it is known as electromagnetic radiance spectrum. That in the figure shows that the different electromagnetic spectrum. So the all the wavelength having a different electromagnetic spectrum, and all the wavelength having some different colors that can be seen by our natural human eyes. In the visible spectrum, all the colors are given that can we sense during our visualization process, and the X-rays, ultraviolet rays, and microwaves and radio waves are not seen, and thermal infrared also we are not seen in the electromagnetic spectrum. Some of the animals having its natural characteristic is that they can see the thermal infrared, like a snake. Snake are sensing the thermal infrared also. Now, the gamma rays. Generally, its wavelength is 3 into 10 raised to minus 5. So, the interaction with atmosphere is higher, so it is not usable for the remote sensing, and incoming radiation is absorbed by the atmosphere. Now, next is the X-ray. It is also not useful for the long distance remote sensing. It is also useful for medicinal purposes because it should be absorbed by the atmosphere due to carbon dioxide and other gases. Ultraviolet rays. Its wavelength is a 0.3, and generally it is absorbed in ozone layer. So we cannot use for the distance remote sensing. We can also only use for its medicinal purpose or short distance remote sensing. Next is the visible. Generally, in the visible remote sensing has been some limitation is that is detectable with film or photo decoders, and the obstructions cannot be seen by the visible wavelength. Now next is the infrared. That wavelength is 0.7 to 100 micrometer. So the atmospheric window exists which allows the maximum transmissions. Portion between 0.7 to 0.9 micrometers called as photographic infrared band. So we can use the detectable film, infrared detectable film for that imaging and the photography. Next is the microwave. Microwave having a wavelength of 10 raised to 3 minus 10 raised to 6. It can penetrate rain, fog, clouds. Both the active and passive remote sensing is possible, and radar is used wavelength in this range. Generally, that wavelength is more with compared to any other spectrum, so we can use that wavelength that should interact lesser with atmosphere and we can use for remote sensing. Radio wave is also the longest wavelength and it is also used for remote sensing by the some radars. Generally, we have to understand that what are the different energy sources and their radiation principle. Then generally, the primary source of energy that illuminates the different features on Earth's surface is the sun. Though the sun produces the electromagnetic radiation in wide range of wavelength, so it should contain the many types of wavelength. But all wavelengths are not reached at our Earth's surface, like ultraviolet wavelength. It cannot reach at our Earth's surface. But some type of wavelength like microwave and the other waves infrared are reach at our Earth surface. But their interaction is more in case of infrared wavelengths. And the amount of energy is produced is not uniform across all the wavelength because suns are sending the ultraviolet rays in the higher amount with respect to the other X-ray rays. Other than the solar radiation, the earth and the terrestrial object also are the source of electromagnetic radiation. Like other gases and our illuminating sources and our devices are also the sending the electromagnetic radiation. All matters at a temperature above absolute 0 Kelvin emits the electromagnetic radiation continuously. We have to understand that all the objects emit the radiation all the time. If their temperature is below the 0 Kelvin or minus 2733 degree, but in practical cases there have been some cases also only. Like all the cases, all the objects having a temperature above the 0 Kelvin or minus 273 degree centigrade. So all the objects emit the electromagnetic radiation continuously. As per the Stephen Boltzmann law, the total radiant existence of the material is watt per meter square. There have been different types of energy emitting of the different object. Stephen Boltzmann constant is 5.6697.10 raised to 8 and T is equal to their temperature. So it should be noted that temperature is depend how much amount of radiation is generated by the object. Now we are discussing about the black body radiation. Black body is a hypothetical ideal radiator. It absorbs and remits the entire energy incident upon it. So generally in practical cases, no body in space is perfectly black body. There can some amount of energy reflect every time. As the temperature increases, the peak shift towards the left. It is explained by the Wien's displacement law. Generally, it states that the dominant wavelength at which the black body radiates, lambda meter, is inversely proportional to the absolute temperature of the black body. Generally, that wavelength is comparative study of the black body versus the actual perfectly re-emitting body. So, where the temperature and the wavelength chart as per the our spectral radiant emission is generally 10 raised to 8 micrometer wavelength is reflected by the black body at 6000 Kelvin is zero point 0.5 micrometer. So, there can emit the zero spectral radiant emissions at the 0 Kelvin and their wavelength is 0.001 wavelength. Visible radiant energy band is generally shown during the different wavelengths. 0.5 to 0.7 is the visible radiant energy band. At 6000 Kelvin, it radiates zero point 0.5 micrometer. At 200 Kelvin, it radiates the 1 micrometer, and at a 0 Kelvin, here is the 0 Kelvin graph, so that cannot emit any type of energy. So if the temperature rises, the black body radiation is also rises. Now the energy sources and radiation principle. How can we measure the black body spectral radiance measured? It should be generally measured in watt per meter square per meter. So the E lambda is equal to hc square upon lambda raised to 5 E ch upon k lambda t minus 1. That have been phenomena for calculating the black body spectral radiance measured. Will displacement law. So when the lambda is maximum, if you want to know about when the lambda is maximum based on the temperature, how much temperature the lambda is maximum. So that are the equation to find out the when the lambda is maximum. Means displacement constant B upon temperature T. Now earth atmosphere. Also we have to know about the earth atmosphere because during the different atmospheric condition the electromagnetic energy are scattered or reflected by them. Atmosphere is a gaseous envelope that surrounds the earth's surface. Much of the gases are concentrated within the lower 100 km of the atmosphere. Only 3 into 10 raised to 5% of gases are found above the 100 km. It should be said by the Gibson in 2000. In the figure shows that the different layer of atmosphere in our celestial around our celestial sphere. First layer is a thermosphere or mesosphere. It should be contained between the 80 to 100 kilometer, and their temperature is nearly about 200 Kelvin. And second is the mesosphere. It it should be contained around the 60 to 80 kilometer, and its temperature is 240 Kelvin. And stratosphere is that contained between the 25 to 60 kilometer, and their temperature is generally 260 Kelvin. And the troposphere is contained between the 0 to 20 kilometer, and its temperature is 240 to 220 to 240 Kelvin. And at the basic head their temperature is nearly about 300 to 280 Kelvin related to our earth's surface and features condition. Now the gaseous composition of earth atmosphere. That composition also affect that electromagnetic energy that can be used during the remote sensing, like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, and ozone. There are also different composition and having a different availability in our atmosphere. Nitrogen is 78.8%, oxygen is 20.94%, and the argon is 0.93%, and carbon dioxide is 0.03%, and ozone is 0.0004, like a 4 into 10 raised to 5 ppm. Like effect of atmosphere on electromagnetic spectrum. How the our atmosphere are affect the electromagnetic spectrum. The radiation from the energy source passes through the some distance of atmosphere before being detected by the remote sensor. Scattering. Generally, atmospheric scattering is the process by which small particles in the atmosphere diffuses a portions of incident radiation in all directions. Generally, there have been two types of scattering. One is the selective scattering and second is the non-selective scattering. In that type of selective scattering, there have been also another two subtypes, Rayleigh scattering and Miles scattering. Generally, the scattering is done by the our gases, our particles present in the atmosphere, another cloud movements, and the another emissions that should be scattered through the our Earth surface or the object, and some of the scattered waves are also absorbed by the atmosphere. So the only the amount that can be reached by the sensor. Now in the Rayleigh scattering, This occurs when the particles causing the scattering are much smaller in diameter, less than the one-tenth of the wavelength of the radiation interacting with them. Its call is Rayleigh scattering. Now next is the Mile scattering, which occurs when the wavelength of the energy is almost equal to the diameter of atmospheric particle. That type of scattering is occurred when the energy is almost equal to the diameter of the atmospheric particle. Their wavelength and the diameter of particle are same. That type of scattering is occur. Longer wavelength are also get scattered compared to Rayleigh scatter. Now second one is the non-selective scattering. That type of scattering is occurred when the diameter of atmospheric particle are much larger. Approximately we said that 10 times than the wavelengths being sensed. This type of scattering is a non-selective with respect to wavelength since all the visible and infrared wavelengths get scattered equally. Now the absorption. We are knowing that if we are imparting some of the electromagnetic energy on the object, that could be absorbed. Generally, it is a process in which the incident energy is retained by the particles in the atmosphere. It's called the absorption. Energy is transferred into the other forms. So, the energy, we are knowing that the energy is in the transformable forms. So, by using that principle, we are converted our solar energy into the electric energy. So, we are using infrared wavelength for the conversion of electric energy, conversion of light energy into the electric energy. Absorption is generally depends on wavelength of the energy, atmospheric composition, arrangement of gaseous molecule and their energy levels. The absorbing medium will not only absorb the portion of total energy but will also reflect, scatter the energy. The absorbed energy may be transmitted back to the atmosphere. Now, what is the absorption? Absorption is generally also depend on the absorber. Absorber are play the great role during the solar radiation. It is the vapor, water vapor, carbon dioxide, and the ozone. Gaseous component are selective absorber of the electromagnetic radiation. It absorbs the electromagnetic energy in specific wavelength band. It should depends on the arrangement of gaseous molecules and their energy level. Now, what are the atmospheric windows? The ranges of the wavelength that are partially or wholly transmitted through the atmosphere. The remote sensing data acquisition limited to these atmospheric windows because all the wavelengths are not passes through the our atmosphere. Now that are the atmosphere window. There have been nothing but it is only wavelength that allows our atmosphere to passes through it. Generally, wavelength shorter than zero point 0.1 micrometer, it should be absorbed by the nitrogen and other gaseous component. Our X-ray, gamma ray and the ultraviolet ray are absorbed by the ozone molecules. In the visible part of the spectrum, little absorption occurs. Oxygen in the atmosphere causes absorption centered at 6.3 micrometer infrared radiation. It mainly absorbed by the water vapor, carbon dioxide and molecules. And the far infrared region is absorbed by the atmosphere. And microwave region absorption is almost nil. So that wave is very useful in our remote sensing. In the picture, we are also seeing that there have been different wavelength is absorbed by the different types of material. Generally, that energy is blocked. That is the human eye, multispectral scanner, radar, and passive microwave. That should not be absorbed. That should be transmitted 100%. It only transmitted 80 to 70%, and that wavelength is not transmitted 1 to 5 micrometer, and 0.1 to 0.3 micrometer wavelength is also not travel through the atmosphere. The most common source of energy are solar energy and maximum energy in the visible region. And second energy is the radiation from the earth. Maximum energy in the thermal infrared region, and the two atmospheric windows at 3 to 5 micrometer and 8 to 40 micrometer is used for remote sensing purposes. Radar and passive microwave system operate through the window in the region 1 mm to 1 meter. So generally in case of remote sensing we are using the microwaves and infrared. Both waves are used for our remote sensing procedure, and it is also called as atmospheric windows. Now the energy interaction in the earth atmosphere, in that case we have to adopt the sensor selection for remote sensing. That topic we will cover in our next lecture. Thank you for being attend this video. I hope you are understanding the remote sensing principles and remote sensing wavelengths and the different phenomena or the remote sensing wavelength windows. So I hope you are understanding well. Thank you. We are studying our next phenomena in our next lecture. Thank you.